Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bracket Brothers, brought to you by SAC Comedy Lab. Please give it up for your hosts, Sean and Pat.
Wow, 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 wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to I Didn't Comb My Hair. Bracket Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm Sean.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Pat. We are brothers in real life.
And in brackets. If it's your first time here, welcome. If it's your multiple time here, welcome back. If we are here to talk about all things pop culture, and today is Universal Florida rides and attractions. Isn't that right, Pat?
Oh yeah, we're talking East Coast only for Universal attractions. We live in the East Coast, so we're biased towards what we know.
Truth. Plus, we're not talking about that bunk version of the Mummy out west, but we'll get to that later. So before we get into it, before we crack open another bracket, I think we have some really cool guests tonight. Let's bring in those guests. Bring them in. Bring them out. Bring them out.
That's all we
should have that. We should have that queued up. Bring them out. Bring them out. Ladies and gentlemen, our illustrious guests. We have Devin. We have Megan. We have Jason. Thank you all for being here. Let's just go around the room real quick. What makes you tick, and what makes you love Universal Florida? Devin, what about you?
Yes, I am gainfully employed by Universal Orlando Resort, and I have been for 5 years. I just got my anniversary blender. I love parks. I've been going since I was like 5, and we would take trips from Massachusetts to Universal from wherever, and so I love it. I grew up with them.
Amazing. How about you, Megan?
I am also gainfully employed with Universal Orlando Resort, and I've been gainfully employed for about 14 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah, I started at Earthquake and did the Jaws ride for a while, and now I'm in entertainment. And I've been going. I live literally 5 minutes away. I've grown up here, so we've been going since it opened. Not to brag, but.
Well, if the show starts dragging, you can just drive over and let us know how it looks.
Yeah, I will.
And if you're a super fan of Megan's, just go 5 minutes in any direction. Knock on the door.
And Jason Sheridan, who are you?
Hi, I'm Jason Sheridan. I'm one of the hosts of Podcast The Ride. I have no official employment at Universal Orlando or Hollywood, so I can say whatever the hell I please, and will likely. I don't have to worry about getting fired by these people, so I'll just be the one saying the crazy bullshit.
That's incredible.
That's how I make my living. I just say crazy bullshit on podcasts. So.
There you go. We all support each other here. You guys work at the park. That gives Jason stuff to talk to on podcasts.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, let's jump in. Pat, do you want to say anything about why you love Universal or anything like that? I know you have some history.
We grew up a Disney family, so Universal was completely new to me until I moved to Orlando, and they actually hired me before Disney did. So thank you. I worked there. I worked at the Harry Potter worlds a little bit, and then I've worked pretty much every Horror Nights as a scare actor up until this year. R.I.P.
Ooh.
R.I.P. And I've never worked at Universal. Moving on.
Brag about it. Damn.
Let's go ahead. Well, I don't work anywhere right now, so shout out to Disney. Let's bring up our other screen, and we will walk through our regions this week. So first off, in the top left, we have Hagrid's, The Mummy, Hulk, Rip Ride Rockit, and this, of course, is our roller coaster region. These are the 4 most notable straight-up roller coasters you can find at Universal, or however we see fit to make this bracket. Then at the bottom left, this one's pretty straightforward. Everyone can get this one. We have Spider-Man, Forbidden Journey, Ripsaw Falls, and Poseidon's Fury, which is, of course, the you might get wet. Spider-Man, you're fighting that water man. Forbidden Journey, those spiders are spitting on you. Ripsaw Falls, you come off a new person. And Poseidon's Fury, oh, baby, it's that water tube.
It's that
Then we have the top right, Gringotts, Simpsons, Minions, Fast and Furious. These are the replacements. Let's be honest, folks. These are the ones that everyone likes, but also I think we all have an affinity for what used to be there. We have Gringotts instead of Jaws. We got Simpsons instead of Back to the Future. Minion Mayhem instead of Jimmy Neutron and Hanna-Barbera. And Fast and the Furious. Honestly, Fast and the Furious could have taken over.
Place of San
Fast and the Furious took over Beetlejuice, earthquake, disaster, a million different things. And then finally, in the bottom right, my personal favorite, we have E.T., Men in Black, Jurassic Park, and Skull Island. And this is that robot finale, ladies and gentlemen. These are those rides that send you off with a robot, whether it's E.T. saying your name, the Men in Black giant monster you have to hit, the alien you have to hit that red button, Jurassic Park, that big dino, and Skull Island, that big ape, baby.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It took us a long time for this one.
It's embarrassing how long this takes us. So,
Yeah. Anyway,
we are-
thanks for watching.
Unemployment. All right, so we are on to the bracket. So to kick it off, now I will say before we get into this, I always try to post these brackets around the internet. This week I posted it on Reddit, posted it on the Podcast The Ride Discord. A lot of people are coming at me and saying that the left side is more stacked than the right. And I just don't know if I agree. I think that there's good ones on both sides. But I just want to say, because this is a great segue, Pat, for us to let everyone know, hashtag we love our haters.
We love our
Please fill the comments right now with what we got wrong so we can chew it up and poop it out. You can hit the bricks. You didn't make the bracket. We
This
did.
is right. I just want to say I saw this comment.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so Poseidon's Fury is allegedly haunted by a janitor ghost. We'll get
Really?
to that.
Okay.
And that's so if anyone was thinking about tuning out, stick around and you're going to find out about a dead janitor. I'm assuming drowned in the water tunnel. So first up,
Good assumption.
Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure versus the Incredible Hulk Coaster. Now, before we even start, I'm going to stop talking because I am going to abstain myself from this conversation. I have not been on Hagrid's, and so
What?
and on top of that, I have not been on the Hulk in the last decade where I haven't blacked out in that first drop. So I can't comment on either of these rides. So this is me throwing to the comment section in the next minute or so. Pick your answer, and that's going to take place in my vote. Take it away.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this matchup was designed to drive me insane. I can't believe this is what we're starting off with. On an upcoming episode of my show, we get into this and kind of land on like, well, Hagrid's gives you a lot of experiences. Hulk, you know, it's a great coaster, but the big set piece is that launch. And frankly, since the redo, I think it's gotten worse. It's gotten more generic.
Oh,
I don't like the narration. I don't like the new narration.
interesting.
On the other hand, I feel very conflicted saying like nice stuff about Harry Potter stuff right now after J.K. Rowling has revealed herself to just be a total scumbag.
It's not hers anymore. We've reclaimed it. It's not hers.
What's incredible about Harry Potter is that we were just gifted these stories and we have no idea where it
They
came
were
from.
just
I think that's wonderful.
they just showed up, and thankfully hundreds of people worked on this attraction. But the Hulk was always the original version was always very near and dear to my heart. And then I think after I turned 25, it just destroys my brain a little bit after every time I go on it. And Hagrid's I did do twice when I was down in Orlando in the fall, and yeah, it's great. So, but I'm a little too close with this one. So, did someone else? Do I throw? I would like to throw my vote to the comments on this very first one.
Okay.
So I'll be tallying for both of us then.
Too much power.
There is a winner already. I can just tell you. So the three of you guys, you're the one of you will decide this. So go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
Well, our mom in the comments is telling us to move on. So wow. Both our parents are here tonight. Thank you
Clearly not a podcast listener.
I mean, that's the thing, is that it's not a hard decision. You either black out on one or you have the best time at a theme park on the other one with great animatronics and a fun pre-show.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't listen, Sean. Don't listen, Sean. Just there's so many unexpected twists and turns, both emotionally and like physically, and like you don't get that on the Hulk. You get to see everything for the Hulk before you even go on it.
It's true.
It's old. The Hulk is old. And I'm
Okay.
this.
But I will say, I mean, I know who I'm voting for. It's very obvious. Like, this is a very obvious choice. But I will say, B&M, which is the manufacturer that made the Hulk and also made Dueling Dragons and stuff like that, very reliable coaster maker.
Mhm.
The problem with the original was that they didn't put sand in the track so that it would roar, and it just really just tosses you around. And even now that they've kind of fixed that and they put music on it, I agree. It didn't really do much to help.
Also, side note, they did have to close down Hagrid's for quite a while at the start.
Bees!
The bees love Hagrid's.
They love it.
They love it.
Famously,
They love it.
famously, my girlfriend and I for Halloween went as I was Hagrid and she was Bees.
Okay. And this year you can go as Hagrid and Backstage Fire.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fun.
Hagrid's like any new ride had its issues.
Yeah.
Hulk obviously gets a shout out for being an incredible ride. I also agree that the update somehow made it worse, or maybe my body just gave up because I used to love that ride and now I cannot ride it. But it is a timed show and we all have feelings. But Sean, do we have an audience vote?
We do have an audience vote. Pat, why don't you call the
Okay.
vote? I'll be voting for myself and for Jason Sheridan, so go ahead.
All right, hands up if you are voting for Hagrid's. And that's a clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Whoa.
Love to see it. May the whole crest in peace. But we are moving forward to our next matchup. What do we got, Sean?
We have probably the easiest one for me. We have Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket versus The Revenge of the Mummy, The Ride. So,
Yeah, so easy.
Yeah.
This is not a contest.
No.
One of these rides was very groundbreaking. Did replace a beloved attraction, but it was out the gate great. Has aged very well. The other ride, I have been advised by multiple people, hey, maybe don't ride that.
Cannot confirm or
architecturally-
deny.
Cannot confirm. Architecturally, maybe not the most sound. So
yeah, the only thing I like about Rip Ride Rocket is that I can listen to the Muppets.
Yeah.
If you know the secret
That's
code,
only
you can.
if you know the secret.
Yes.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
have to do it fast too.
Yeah,
and
you
the
have to,
touch
like,
screens
do it.
have gotten really bad over the years. Like they're not great anymore. Maybe a refurb.
Rip Ride Rocket is one of the rare rides that has a height limit, which I am about an inch under. So it's very nerve-wracking if I go to ride and you walk under this tube and I can feel my hair like brush against the thing that says like, don't ride this ride. That being said, it gets a lot of hate. I think it is a fun ride, but if you ever want to not ride that ride again, just go on YouTube and look up Rip Ride Rocket evacuations. They happen often, and they usually make the news because it requires the fire department.
I will say, I have
yeah.
a fun fact about Rip Ride Rocket. Many people don't realize this, but it does not go upside down. It's not an upside down coaster. It flips you right side up right before you would go upside down.
Yep.
So if you're ever trying to convince someone to go on it, you can use that. It probably won't work because they can see that, but whatever.
Well, I think we should just put this to a vote because we have a lot of good things to say about the Mummy, but let's save them for when they count. Hands up if you're voting for the Mummy. Clean sweep, number
Clean
2.
Clean sweep.
Love
Clean
to see
sweep.
it. Love
All right.
to see it.
Up next, this one might be interesting. I think I know where it's going, but I'm curious. So we have Spider-Man versus Poseidon's Fury.
This is not fair. This is totally not fair.
All right, here we go.
I'm just saying,
Well, I don't know.
Poseidon's Fury is not a ride. It is a show, and it's one of the most groundbreaking shows that's ever been in a theme park. Is it dated? Sure. Was the original better? Absolutely. But if you have a really good tailor and the audience is on your side, that can be like the best thing that you see all day. So I'm gonna.
Here's the thing. It's not a ride, and it's also not a venue that has ever hired me. So no. 6 times I've been called back for that.
I got to 13, bud. You got only like a couple more.
I will say Poseidon's Fury, we almost had a region of this bracket called Q Better Than Ride. And Poseidon's Fury was going to be on there because when you walk past this, first of all, on your left is the best theme park restaurant from 2003, according to the banner outside.
The banner says so.
Yeah.
The multiple banners. They've updated the banners.
Then to the right, you have this incredible outside where, that once stood this huge Poseidon statue and it fell and everything. Oh yeah, that's Hamburger. She's in the background. It looks incredible. Meanwhile, Spider-Man's queue is cool. It's fine. I think it's fun. If I'm going queues, I'm going Poseidon all the way. Unfortunately, we're talking about ride, and this is 100% Spider-Man.
That's not fair.
Here's the thing, Megan. Here's the thing. People go to Poseidon and they're like, this is a fun show. This is a fun show. Can't wait to see the water tunnel. And then let me tell you, 3 times out of 5, you know what you're not getting? The water tunnel. And then the letdown of that is so sad when those doors open and there's just blue hallway.
You're right.
It's heartbreaking.
Well, look, we can't get past the fact.
Lasers.
Is it a show? Is it a ride? It is more show, but it is an attraction. We're talking about attraction. It's an experience.
It's an experience. The real heads know you got to do Poseidon. You can't skip Poseidon's Fury. It's a sleeper.
Okay.
The facade is. I think. Lost Continent is kind of an early adopter for like detail in theme park design and early 21st century theme park design. But Spider-Man just paved the way for everything else. I think Universal just in the last few years getting back to like the path laid out by Spider-Man. Got a little off course with the screens and various economic downturns over the years kind of hampering their financials. But Spider-Man, I might be one of the best, if not the best, in Orlando, period.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely my must-do, along with another ride, but different parks, but in Universal. But also shout out to that gray sandwich on a plate at the Spider-Man's queue.
That's actually great theming. Because that's what
great theming because in a comic book.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So while Poseidon has an incredible exterior, I would argue that the actual queue itself of Spider-Man is just as immersive or as accurate to the experience as Poseidon is. Exterior, it easily goes to Poseidon. But once you get inside the building, I love Spider-Man. I love watching the little videos that are going through. I love pretending like I'm walking through this newsroom.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good, but I think we got to throw it to a vote. We got to move it along. So it's time to vote. Hands up if you are voting for Poseidon.
Oh, Megan.
Megan, we respect your vote.
I worked really hard to get into the show.
And we respect you and we honor you, but not in the way of letting Poseidon move forward. Spider-Man wins. What do we got next?
Next up, we have Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey versus Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls.
Ooh.
All right. I'm going to start this one off because I worked at Harry Potter's Forbidden Journey for about 3.5 years. And funny enough, recently on Facebook, somebody posted a picture of like all of us working together. And my comment on it was, when I look at old high school photos, I feel nothing inside. But when I look at photos of like people I worked with there, like that feels like what my high school was. It was a really good group of people. It was a lot of fun. The ride itself is one of the most advanced, one of the most original uses of technology, using the KUKA Robotics arms like that. Too advanced to the point that they really haven't tried to do it again. What are you timing out on me
for? We need a timeout. We do need a timeout. We completely skipped over the ghost in Poseidon's Fury, and the comments are furious.
Oh.
You know what? Okay, I will pause there when I said high technology. What do we know about this ghost?
Does anyone know about this ghost other than Arena in the chat?
I know about it. I know a lot of the old school people have experienced things with it. I personally have not. So I'm not the best person to ask. Greg Fawcett might be a good person to ask.
Well, folks,
sorry, it's really anticlimactic.
To Bracket Brothers, because we might have some ghost stories for you in the future.
Right. We'll table that. We'll come back if anyone knows. Put it in the comments. But anyway, you were saying about
back to Harry Potter Forbidden Journey. In my opinion, Hagrid's rivals it as best Harry Potter ride, but it eclipses Gringotts immediately for me. The technology is incredible. The use of screens is well done. They tried 3D in West Coast. It is 3D. They tried it here for like a second. It didn't really work out well. But seeing the inner workings of this ride is beautiful. And then we have the queue alone is an experience. People like to do tours of the castle. I loved walking people around and pointing out all the things from the movies inside of there. And that place is a special place in my heart, but it is also an incredible ride that I used to get nauseous on, and I learned how to not get nauseous on it just because of how much I enjoyed it as a ride. So that's like one of the best rides to me.
I want to take a moment. I am 100% voting for Forbidden Journey here. Dudley Do-Right, I think, gets passed over by a lot of people, mostly because you get absolutely torrentially wet on this thing.
Right.
But it's a really fun flume ride. I mean, it's not Splash Mountain level, but it is way more fun than I expected it to be. I think the original, and Jason, maybe you know this, correct me if I'm wrong, but the original was going to have your boat get cut in half as you went down the final drop, because that's why there's like 10 flumes.
That is correct. The original like Blue Sky plan for it did call for a fake buzzsaw to split your log in half and then go down. Now, how far that ever got, Toon Lagoon is very much a land, where necessity is the mother of invention. Can I use my 1 minute?
Are you already using it?
Yes. Okay.
I'm using it. I am
All right,
using
hang
it.
on. Let me get the timer up.
Okay.
All right. When you start talking, the timer starts.
Okay, great. I'm going to be the wild card in this round. I'm throwing it to Dudley Do-Right. Dudley Do-Right kicks ass. One, it's a fast log flume. You don't get a lot of really fast log flumes. The only other one I really think of is Timber Mountain Log Ride at Knott's Berry Farm out here in California. Dudley Do-Right tells an original Jay Ward cartoon, an original Dudley Do-Right cartoon, as you go through the queue, as you go through the ride. And depending on whether you do Islands of Adventure counterclockwise or clockwise, I'm sure there's arguments for both ways. We were a clockwise house going to Marvel first. Like that string of water rides of Dudley Do-Right and Popeye and Bluto's Bill Drap Barges and Jurassic Park River Adventure. You guys had it listed as Jurassic Park the Ride. That was in Hollywood. River Adventure is Florida. But Dudley Do-Right is great. It goes fast. The logs rarely back up like they do at Splash Mountain. And you get really wet.
All right, that's your time, Jason. Thank you. We appreciate your thoughts and passion behind these attractions. Dudley Do-Right is great. I believe it wins or has won Best Water Ride attraction for quite a few years in a row. Oh my God. Our mother is worried about the cat more.
Fine, Ma. Cat's fine.
It's why it's on the bracket. It's an incredible ride. It shouldn't be passed over. I have only ridden it once, but it was more recent than not because I realized I had gone too long without riding this ride. And it is so fun. You do get absolutely drenched. So thank you for your thoughts. If anybody else has anything else to say, or else we're going to put it to a vote.
It was better without the lap bars. They put the lap bars in later.
That's fair. Yeah.
I will say there is something very fun about watching kids absolutely nail people in the boats on with the water guns. That is nice.
Yeah, I do love the added feature of being able to shoot people with water guns and things like
You
that.
gotta pay for it.
You do have to pay for it. And we are going to vote for it. So let's see. Hands up if you are voting for Dudley Do-Right.
You know what?
Wow.
I was gonna vote the other way, but you swayed me, Jason.
You swayed a little bit, but not
wear
enough.
Capes, not enough.
But that's all right. Harry Potter moves on. Dudley Do-Right.
Right. We have our complete. If we want to bring up the bracket, we have our winners in the first round. We have Hagrid's, Mummy, Spider-Man, and Forbidden Journey moving on. I went ahead and changed the logo to River Adventure because I was shamed on by Jason. So up next, we have Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts versus Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Can we move on?
Yeah, why bother? What are you doing? Guys,
what are you doing?
We yeah, yikes. if anyone in the comments has anything great to say about Fast and Furious, please say it now.
I'd
or
love
we'll
to
just-
hear it. I'd
I
love to
honestly have
hear it.
one good thing that I enjoy about that ride, and it's when you first get on the party bus, right, and you start going into the story of the ride, and you're going through a tunnel. It really looks like you're going through a tunnel.
Yeah, they had that in Earthquake and Disaster though too.
I know.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
At the end of it.
When we were making the bracket, we were trying to figure out if there was a way to make 4 rides that was just like horrible CGI because of what Vin Diesel and The Rock look like on this ride, which is
we're gonna
not
do-
like real
We're gonna do like Hermione's voice
Yes.
on the train because it just ain't her. We're gonna do Vin Diesel on this ride, and then I think we stalled out there.
Yeah. We can't do it. But shout out to horrible CGI and things like that. And if I recall, a friend of mine helped run the media event when Fast and Furious opened, and Vin Diesel wanted to be anywhere else.
I will say Neil's comment is valid. If anyone does want to think about this for just a quick
Oh,
moment,
no.
it is just car dudes hanging out. But
It
with
is
that,
real.
we are going to vote. Put your hand up if you'd like to vote for Escape from Gringotts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So-
a thing.
Salute. Sorry. I don't,
Yeah.
you know.
An incredible queue. I'm not a big fan of the ride itself, but the queue of Gringotts is worth the
Really
conversation.
good.
I thought you meant Fast and Furious, and I was like,
Also a great queue.
oh, I did.
It's fine.
Couple cars, couple
cars.
songs.
I love when people try to defend it. Like, the queue's fine. I'm like,
It's all right.
it's a clean garage.
It's a new spieling attraction though.
Yeah.
No? Cool.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward. What do we got?
We have the Simpsons ride versus Minion Mayhem.
All right.
So
This is hard.
We have
hard.
one ride
Hard.
that makes me absolutely sick to my stomach versus one ride that almost makes me sick to my stomach. I straight up do not ride The Simpsons anymore. I throw up on that ride. Something about that ride. I love The Simpsons, dear to my heart. But the Minions is going to take this one for me because it's. I think it's the more accurate IP of that park. I love The Simpsons, but like, I think it's the well-used IP. I wish they almost did more with The Simpsons. This is like the right amount of minions you can see. The ride is very cute. The idea is fun. You turn into a minion, and then when you leave, you get to dance to Boogie Fever with the minion. Come on, man.
Boy.
Come on.
Devin.
Pat, you said that the ride is very cute, and it is, but it's not just cute. You don't just turn into a minion. Celebrating the anniversary of Gru's adoption of his squirrels.
Who's girl?
It's the day they became a family. You see,
Yeah.
you know,
They think
it's very
he's
endearing.
forgotten. And he hasn't forgotten. He made a whole celebration, but Edith thinks he's forgotten.
It makes me cry every time I ride it. You're not
It's
wrong.
genuinely such a touching story.
So good. And they got that fart gun.
Oh,
They got the
smells like
fart gun.
bananas.
And
This is insane. This is insane right now.
I'm gonna agree with you because I think it loses points for like it's just the soundstage that was
Yeah.
you know Jimmy Neutron and then it was Hanna-Barbera. Simpsons has this wonderful placemaking around it. It's one of the like legitimately very funny where they brought back a lot of the A-lister like writers to work on it. So it's funny and it's very funny cue, great clips.
Burger's trapped in the closet. I don't know if anybody can see
A
this.
lot of people are.
Burger,
a lot of people are.
I gotta go. Hang on, I gotta get her out.
Okay, I would like.
I'm not gonna force her.
Devin, go for it. What do you got?
I would just like to address that. Yes, Minions is just a new version of a ride that we have had many times. But this is how this ride works. Minions is not going to be here forever. It's going to be another cartoon that then fits the same formula. There's a history to this ride. It was Hanna-Barbera, and then it was Nicktoons, and now it's Minions, and then it'll probably be something else, right? Like something else that fits the same formula. Because this ride, in my mind, is kind of interchangeable. They took Back to the Future, which is a deeply loved ride, and they said, we're going to replace that with a television show. Welcome to Universal Studios, where you can ride the movies and a television
TV
show.
Well, now there's a fine history of that there because the Murder She Wrote was park opening.
It was Xena.
Xena and Hercules, yes. So there was representation of television.
Fear Factor.
Fear
Also,
Factor.
Simpsons is a
Well,
movie.
we don't talk about Fear Factor.
Also, Simpsons is a movie, so Simpsons movie. There's a
So
movie.
yes, who could forget that movie?
I'm just saying, if you could bring Back to the Future, I think that everybody would say, yeah, get Simpsons out of there. I would scrap all of Springfield from Back to the
Ooh,
Future.
I don't know about that. Unless they turn it into oh wow,
Valley.
what? Yeah,
Hill
Hill
In
Valley.
Scratchy Land.
Listen,
Here's what I will
the
say.
whole thing except the taco truck. The taco truck is good.
I personally think all of Springfield is great. The food is terrible. It's supposed to be. The stuff's overpriced. It's supposed to be.
Well,
The
now,
ride
and what
beats
is
you up.
Universal's excuse about the food in the rest of the parks?
Well, that's not what I'm talking about.
What
That's
is
not what
the
I'm talking
story
about.
explanation?
We're not talking about that.
From what I
We're talking
understand,
about-
the new crepes are great.
The games are rigged. They're supposed to be.
Right.
I think both rides are doo-doo, but if I had to pick one, I'm going Simpsons because the Simpsons overlay to me is a million times better than the Minions. Sorry. Move to vote.
I mean, you're putting a whole land in a position of one ride. Man.
Yeah,
Simpsons Land is
yeah.
great, but that ride could go away, and Simpsons Land is still wonderful.
The graphics on that ride are some of the worst graphics I've ever seen on a ride, and I rode Fast and the Furious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would revisit this if Universal put the money and time into making Simpsons better. If they redid the screen or redid the video and stuff, it could be a little bit better. It is just not there for me. And with that, we got to throw it to a vote. Sean, you want to run this one?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, hands up if you're voting for the Simpsons ride. Okay,
Wow.
That's fine. It's fine.
Wow.
It's fine.
And that's the brackets, baby.
That's
we
it.
love the hate. Feed us the hate. It's all about
All right.
bananas now.
Up next, E.T. versus Skull Island Reign of Kong.
This feels like it's not even a competition.
This
I feel like
feels-
we can move right to the vote for this one.
Hang on. I would like a moment. You know what? This is insane. I'm going to use my Hill to Die on to talk about Skull Island Reign of Kong.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Sean.
Let me first say, I will be voting for E.T., and I hope everyone else does too. But I
Yeah.
want to take a minute to talk about this ride. Okay, everyone poops on this ride for a few reasons. One, it's like a direct copy for the most part of the tram attraction in California. Secondly, the outside looks like it's going to be the coolest thing in the world, and then it's a little underwhelming. When I first went on it, I was met with people that I knew had been on it before. They said it's terrible, it's just screens, whatever. First of all, the queue is immaculate. I mean, I didn't go on it when they had the people working, when they had like the scare actors in there, but it's still incredible. There's animatronics in the queue. It's so cool. The outside part where you're driving around is terrifying. When you get in, the screen part of it, honestly, is fine. It's a million times better than Fast and the Furious. It's the same idea, but you're rocking back and forth. You're getting like fake blood spit on you. It's cool. And then that freaking Kong animatronic at the end is worth the entire thing. It's worth the wait. I encourage people to ride the ride. I don't think it's incredible, but it doesn't deserve all the hate it gets. That being said, vote E.T.
Yes.
And that is your time. Thank you, Sean. That's an honorable use of your Hill to Die on. I'm not going to use my minute, but I will just say I echo all of his thoughts. I think it gets shit on way too much. Give it a shot. Give it a ride. It's a fun ride.
Yeah,
It's no E.T., baby. It's no E.T.
it's not.
No.
All right.
So let's
don't
just
have to
vote
talk.
this one through.
Yeah. Okay. So hands up if you're voting for E.T.
Clean sweep.
All right.
Up next. This one might be tough. I don't know. I don't know where everyone feels in this one. We have Men in Black, Alien Attack versus Jurassic Park, River Adventure. This one, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going.
Because I feel like everyone's gonna go Jurassic Park, and I just want to say, you get to play a Man in Black on Men in Black. You get to shoot aliens. You don't get to help harness the dinosaurs. You're a victim. You're not in charge of your own destiny on Jurassic Park.
It's fair.
You're a winner on Men in Black.
You might get a suit.
You might get a suit.
I mean, I will say I think I enjoy Men in Black more. I like the franchise Jurassic Park a million times better. Jason, have you done the new version out in California? I know that's not what we're talking about, but
The Jurassic World overlay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got some very good like big moments, but they still kind of. I did it a couple times, and like the big end sequence, they were still kind of running in B mode and hadn't mastered the like final like Indominus animatronic, which apparently is being worked on during downtime. But there's some very cool stuff in it. It definitely needed some work in some way or another, because the sun in California, much like the sun in Orlando, is unrelenting and has just like faded those dinosaurs. The elements have not been kind to those dinosaurs.
No.
Yeah, that is very true. One thing I will say, the combination of these, well, both these rides, Men in Black maybe even more so, does one of my favorite things in theme parks, which Universal does a lot, which is the last second switch in that queue, where you're in the line and you're going in to experience the universe in you, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Which I always think it'd be really funny if like half the time you actually just sit down for a presentation and then you don't know if you're going to get to ride the Men in Black ride. And then Jurassic Park, of course, you're going on a tour of the park and the dinosaurs go crazy. I gotta say, Men in Black also, this is completely separate, but I think is better than its kind of brother down the street with Buzz Lightyear as far as like a story.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
It's so much better. It's not super easy to max out your score. I think I might be going Men in Black, because let me tell you, if you get the high score and you get the suit at the end,
Yeah.
I'm
Nothing
beaming
to
up.
And that
I'm beaming for the rest of the day.
ride.
I
You
also
get to leave to that iconic song.
I don't love getting
Yeah.
wet on rides, so Jurassic Park loses points for me there.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I love the immigration room in Men in Black. When
So
life
good.
gets a little bit back to normal, perhaps you can, if you didn't know this, if you go to Men in Black, you can ask for an immigration tour, and they'll take you downstairs, and you can see everything up close. I've done that a few times. It's very, very fun. And the music they're pumping around just puts you in a mood, man.
Yeah.
They're just pumping the Will Smith classics,
And
and
the
that's
cue-
all I need.
The queue is interactive too. If you pull on the doors, they do different things. Jurassic Park has Mr. Hammond, but that's about it. Sorry, queue.
My dad brings up a
Sorry,
very good point in the comments. You can shoot the other rider's cart. You get to fight other
Yeah.
tourists
That's true.
in that ride.
That's a really cool feature of that ride. I think. I mean, this might be
And-
going a certain
I think
way.
this might be a
I-
surprise vote.
If you're hitting that red button too, Rip Torn screams at you to hit the red button. and
Yeah.
you
He
get it.
screams.
That's so satisfying.
Mwah.
Like,
That's yeah.
bonus.
And you got secret targets. It's got a lot to offer. And Jurassic Park is a lovely IP,
Yep.
but arguably used not in the best way. But let's
It
see what that
needs-
roller
it needs
coaster
some
looks
love.
like that they're building. They're
Yeah,
building
for
something. They won't
don't
talk
know.
about it.
We don't know what it is.
we don't
They
know.
don't know
We
what's they don't even know what's
you
happening. But we know what's happening, and that is a vote. It's time to vote. Raise your hands if you're voting for Jurassic Park. Clean
Wow.
sweep to Men in Black.
Wow.
Wow.
You're coming. And you know what?
Wow.
I respect it.
Woo.
There he
Ted!
is.
Ted, the dog with human eyes. that we
Ted's
love
an
so much.
alien. He's
Someone
an
told me
alien.
the other day that he looks like one of the coffee drinking aliens.
Yes.
That's accurate. Yeah. We respect Ted. We stand Ted.
We
So what do we got next, Sean?
All right, we have a completed full round. If we want to bring up the bracket, we have Hagrid's versus Mummy first up. Then we're going to have Spider-Man Forbidden Journey, Gringotts
Oh,
Minions,
this
and
part
E.T.,
sucks.
Men in Black. So,
That first round we took too much time because that was all easy. These all suck.
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll see how long it takes. So we got Hagrid's versus Mummy. I will say right off the bat, I have not ridden Hagrid's. I hear it's the best, but the fact that I haven't been able to ride it and the fact that I can pretty much walk onto the Mummy whenever I want, even though when the wait says it's for forever, for some reason, I can always get on. It's great. I would also like to mention that part in the queue where if you put your hand in, it shoots air at you. It's very funny to watch other people do that. It's the best ride. I think it's a top 3 ride in Orlando.
Wow.
The Mummy.
Yeah.
Hot take. I do just want to give a quick, not really necessarily a shout out, but I want to just get Universal's attention. When we're talking about Mummy queue, please, your queues are too dark. Your lines aren't long enough for these queues to be going immediately to the dark. The Mummy is a great ride. Their line's usually not that long. But it takes a while to get to the end of it because you spend the first 2 minutes making sure you're not going to run in anything because your cues go from the bright Florida sun to a dark themed thing.
So wait, Pat,
you gotta do that better.
Pat, does it feel like you're like navigating like an excavation site? Is that what it makes you feel like? No, it's almost like it does the exact thing it intends and makes you completely immersed in the experience. Oh, how weird.
Wow. You're gonna call me out like that. That works for the Mummy, but it doesn't fit into the theming of all the other rides that go completely pitch black. But also Disney's bad at that too. So anyway, the Mummy's great. The Mummy is a classic. Hagrid's is the future.
Yeah.
While it is new and it did have its issues, it's been running pretty well. The bees seem to have left. It is a launch machine. We don't want to do too many ride spoilers. The same way we avoided spoilers for Rise of the Resistance for people who haven't ridden it, we will avoid them as much as we can for Hagrid's. But it utilizes the launch.
Changer, though. It
utilizes a launch mechanism. It's a game changer. It's a beautiful ride, and it has two different perspectives depending on which seat you choose to sit in. It's the Mummy crawled so Hagrid's could run. Like
you're right. That's a good way to say it.
The Mummy should always be in the conversation for the best rides that there are. But for me, this has to go another way. But that's my thoughts.
The Mummy is a great example of something that we have tried millions of, right? Like we've all been on 100 indoor coasters. The Mummy is maybe the best version of that. It's so good. Hagrid's there's just no going backwards now. Like once you've gone on Hagrid's, everything is like trash because it's so good.
It's going backwards
so
on
good.
Hagrid's.
Can I ask a question? On Hagrid's, I haven't been on it. Does a human being get murdered? Because that's one of my favorite parts.
Thank you. Fire ceiling. Safe loading zone. The original game changer, the Mummy.
That's true. It was. It was a bait and switch.
That fake ending where the Mummy murders the ride attendant and sets the ceiling on fire.
And then he screams, "Death is only the beginning." Yeah, I can't say Mummy's a bad ride. It is peak indoor attraction. It's incredible.
Yeah. Hagrid's is better though, sorry.
Hagrid's is better.
It's really tough. It's really tough.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah, there is no fire ceiling in Hagrid's. That is the spoiler that we will reveal. So Mummy does get that edge.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a really tough matchup. So let's just put it to the vote.
Okay.
I feel like the Mummy should get the same Universal fan as E.T. I don't understand why it doesn't. Yeah, I agree with you. But let's put it to a vote. Ladies and gentlemen, hands up if you are voting for the Mummy.
Yeah, I'm going crazy on this one. You take Universal history, they bulldoze their history. It's like building houses in Los Angeles. They bulldoze their history at the drop of a hat. So, you got to take it where you can get it, you know?
It really, it's a toss. No one died on a hill for the Mummy. I was possibly willing to go either way, but it's got to be Hagrid's for me. And we got to move on. What's our next matchup?
We got two pretty easy matchups coming our way. So first up, we have Spider-Man versus, this might not be that easy. Spider-Man versus Forbidden Journey.
Ooh.
That is tough.
This one is tough.
Let's see. Which one has not broken down on me dozens of times? Probably the one with my best friend Spider-Man on it. The most endearing character in fiction, preserved in amber in the late 1990s version of Spider-Man, the one I prefer. So I am admittedly biased on this one.
That is fair. I'll give you behind the scenes for the Mummy. For Harry Potter, if you get broken down and you have to get evac'd off of that ride, there are a few locations where we can just pop the harness and you can get off and walk. That's about 20% of the locations. The rest of them require us to, because you are about 15 feet in the air, if you don't realize, we have to roll a tall 15-foot ladder below the thing and then go up the ladder, clip in with a harness, and then one by one pull you off, clip you in a harness, walk you down the ladder one by one, and that's why it takes forever to get off that ride. There are cameras watching you the entire time, so we can see your face as you are screaming because you want to get off the ride. You can't because you're 15 feet in the air.
And you're not upside down. I promise you, you are not upside
It does
down.
not go upside down.
You need to calm down. You're not upside down.
You're
Here's
not.
what I-
It gets close, but
It's close.
Yeah, you're not.
Here's what I'm going to say about Harry Potter. I think it's good. I think the land is better. I think the queue is better. And the reason why it's not getting my vote is the part where you go by the big tree that tries to hit you because my claustrophobia kicks in real big. And I do not like that part. The rest of it is fine. Like, people are like, oh, the spiders are fine. They like shoot water at you. The part where the tree is like, and you're so close to it, forget it. Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
If you
Spider-Man
look closely,
is a good ride that they
there is a
hit
bench
twice.
crushed in that tree. They took pieces of an extra bench and they crushed it and put it in the tree to make it look like it has killed in the past.
I've never seen that. That's
Too
really
dark,
interesting.
Pat. You can't
So
see
there.
it.
Talk about too
Too
dark. When the
Too
ride
dark.
first opened, you know the scene where all the Avengers come down?
Yeah.
If you ever
There's
ride the
more.
ride again, look up because they pulled about 75% of the Dementors back. That room used to be filled to the brim with these spooky ass Dementor things
It
coming
was
down.
too
And it was
scary.
too scary.
Yeah.
They had to make it less scary for children to be able to want to ride it. I'm going to go probably opposite of what I was saying about the Mummy. The Mummy crawled so Hagrid's could run. Harry Potter is the more technologically advanced attraction here, but for me, the heart of Universal lives within this Spider-Man attraction.
Agreed.
It's the right use of screens. Universal, there is a right use of screens. Stop.
Yeah.
With the screen.
Stop.
Spider-Man's right, but also Transformers is not necessarily right. You didn't have to build the identical ride, but Transformers isn't on this because of that reason.
It's so nice they did it twice.
So nice they did it twice, but somehow the original was still so much better.
Oh, it's so good.
Harry Potter should always be considered a great attraction. I'd love to see more things done with Kuka Robotics, but Spider-Man it's a perfect ride, y'all.
It is.
Can I say one more thing about Spider-Man that I really like is when they throw when the guy throws the flaming pumpkin and then it hits the pipe and then the real flame comes out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
And you feel the
it's-
heat.
How do you top
Come
that?
on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's the
Oh, yeah.
best.
What he says, you're starting to feel or heat up or something.
Heat up. Things are starting to heat up.
Heat up. Then they
Yeah.
blow hot air on you.
And then when he says, you're taking a
Dive.
dive.
Not again.
It's great. The Spider-Man's, it's such well. All right, we got to vote. We got to
Okay.
move. We got to vote. I think we know where it's going. Hands up if you are voting for Spider-Man. Clean sweep.
Sweet.
What do we got next, Sean?
We got this one is the one I was talking about before. I think this one might be quite easy. This is Gringotts versus Minions.
Oh,
Oh man, yeah, that's.
I don't know if anyone wants to say anything about Minions before it loses here, but this
Okay,
might be.
here's the thing. Here is the thing.
Here she goes.
Harry Potter. People love Harry Potter, right? Because there's so much heart and soul in it, barring its terrible author. That ride is completely devoid of soul. There is no soul. You go through the bank. Voldemort's there. He was never there in the movie. That didn't happen. What timeline is this? There's no heart. There's no soul. We don't care about these characters that we already inherently care about. We already love these characters, and we don't care about them in this ride. I love those Gorls. Okay,
those boys.
and I would adopt them. Drew didn't
I-
forget.
I would ride Minions over Gringotts any day of the week. Gringotts is not a great ride. They tried too much. In my mind, they were in a room and they were like, do we want to build a kids ride or like a thrill ride? And somebody was just like, I don't know. And then they built this weird mashup where it's not quite enough thrill, but then it's a weirdly enough use. Again, technological advances, but not necessarily for the right reason. The Diagon Alley is the best thing Universal has built in a long time. That establishment is great. The ride could not be there, and it would be just as good. That ride is not great. It's a people eater. I get it's a big. Gotta have a place to put people, but the ride itself doesn't do anything for me. I want either more of a coaster or I want a more Spider-Man-y experience. I want more interactiveness with that.
Great, then it can lose to E.T., but there's no way it's losing to the Minion ride, where
No,
you're on a
even
couch.
ride.
You're on a couch that moves around a little bit while you watch a movie.
But
Yeah.
that's the expectation.
And that's
You
my
know
expectation.
you go in.
Gringotts is
every
the
time
worst
something
Harry
comes
Potter
out
ride.
Every time something
Worse
happens,
than the Hippogriff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Worse?
yeah.
slaps. That
Fine,
ride
Hippogriff.
slaps.
Flight of the Hippogriff. I said Flight of the Hippogriff is a perfect ride. It's not on the bracket because it would sweep.
Jason, thank you for being here. You seem you've removed eye contact.
I don't know. I mean, I do think Minions has a better story. I think Gringotts is one. A few of these rides, when I come down to Florida, I'm not locals like you guys. I go in and out, so my time is limited. So I usually have the Express to make sure I get everything done because I'm a bit of a completist. The Express is totally fucked like so many queues at Universal because you miss big story stuff, you miss a lot of buildup and all. So I'm very conflicted because the first time I rode Gringotts after a 3+ hour wait, I did get every possible story element because I saw every nook and cranny of that queue. It wasn't particularly pleasant, but I saw it. I don't know. I'm curious to see how this one plays out. Can I throw my vote again to the audience?
Absolutely.
If you would like to vote.
All right, audience, my choice is in your hands.
All right, Sean, do you want me to count them or you want to count them?
I'll count them. I think we have enough. Actually, people have been chiming in pretty heavily. So give me 10 seconds, and then you can move to vote.
Can I take those 10 seconds to say, how dare you stand where Jaws stood? How dare you?
There it is.
Well, that's fair.
How dare you? Jaws was maybe the most innovative ride that had ever been built, and they tore it apart, and then they put in that dumb roller coaster that was supposed to be a lot cooler, and it doesn't have a good story, and Bill Weasley is garbage. Sorry, said it. And Emma Watson didn't even show up.
Yeah, another example of bad CGI, Emma Watson in there. But we do have to vote. We do have to move on. Sean, do you have a unanimous?
It's too close. Hang on. Give me one second.
Get back in the comments.
All right. No, I have a winner. And by the way, I do need to shout out some of these. I'm gonna forget to say everyone's names, but people calling out Soulless Fake Hermione. 2 people calling out Hermione. Someone just said, "Let's go, girls." Someone said Gringotts wins because Bill Weasley is hot. Bye. Someone said Gringotts tech is good. I like it, and it's easy on the tummy. Or no, stomach. I said tummy. We have some really, really good ones in here. The first one that kind of sets it off to me is from Neil. Minions is a dance party. Gringotts takes place at a bank. So with that, I do have a vote for Jason. So I'll be voting for myself and for Jason. So go ahead and run the vote.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hands up if you're voting for the Minions.
Wow.
Minions beats Gringotts.
Okay. The audience wanted Gringotts. I wanted Gringotts, but
knock it out early, I say.
I didn't do that. I'm a man of the people. The crowd has spoken,
And Jason, we respect it. We respect you, but we're moving on. What's our next matchup? We gotta move on.
We got E.T. versus Men in Black.
Oh, baby. Breaking out my E.T. candle here. Ooh. This is bought to smell like the queue of E.T. And if you're wondering, it does not, but it's good. You can't capture that scent. You can't capture. Whoever makes these guys, the products are pretty cool, but I recommend this candle, but only if you like whatever this smell is. Look, E.T. is also a perfect ride. And if you are thinking you just like it because it's dumb, no, you just don't understand how deep E.T. goes. And I people have a lot to say about this, so I'm not going to take up too much time as a host of the show. Please take it away.
Yeah.
As it stands with fog effects and lighting, like strobing, Men in Black wins. There's a very similar effect in E.T., but that end of Men in Black where you're spinning around inside that alien's mouth. Devin, yes?
First of all, there used to be way more smoke, so it felt like maybe you were in an alien's mouth. Now you know what you see? A little bit of smoke and the exit signs.
You definitely see the
Swallow
exit
an emergency
exit sign is glowing.
Glowing.
That's true.
I mean, there's a big X factor, and I got to talk about this because it's kind of our North Star on Podcast The Ride, but only one of these rides has Botanicus.
Oh, boy.
E.T.'s teacher, and he calls him back to the home planet to get Teakley, and Mag
Mag
Doll. He's got
Doll.
to help them all. And then they can have a big party, and then E.T. does his best at saying your names.
You know who else helps aliens get back to their home planets?
By shooting them.
Not us.
The immigration office at the Men in Black offices.
This is all I will say. I have a lot to say. If it's going to lose, I'm going to lose my mind. But I have not been to a theme park in almost a year at this point. When I go back to Universal and I ride ET and that alien tells me, welcome home, that I've arrived, I will cry on that bike. And I'm not joking.
Oh my god! And just like, okay, this is such a minor thing, but the seamless transition of him being in your basket to him going away in his basket and then being out in his planet.
Also, Steven Spielberg. Actually, well, Steven Spielberg is in both rides, so I can't shout it out.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg is utilized in both attracting a newspaper, Men in Black, and then he's in a police car. And
Michael Jackson is in ET, and that's supposed to be a ride for kids. So.
All right. Well, that might lose at some points, but we do need to vote and move it along. So, ladies and gentlemen, hands up if you're voting for E.T. Megan, we respect you.
That's okay. I respect you guys.
All right.
Fine.
We are close on time. We got to move on. We are up to Hagrid's. Or no, we already did that. We already did Hagrid's versus. Did we do Hagrid's versus Spider-Man? No.
Yeah.
We did the other.
Spider-Man. No. We haven't done
No,
this.
we did Forbidden Journey. Okay, we are at Hagrid's versus Spider-Man.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Look, old versus new, but this is a case where old still knocks it out of the park.
No,
I mean-
Hagrid's. That's all I gotta say. It's gotta be Hagrid's.
I agree.
Come on.
I think we've said all we need. I think we just need to vote, and if somebody wants to use their button, they can. But let's just put it to a vote. Hands up if you want to vote for Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. And hands up for Spider-Man, or the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man.
These boys.
Jason!
Trademark technology
You
to
don't even
allow
know. You know not what you
3D,
vote for.
allow the
Spider-Man
movement
walked
and the
so
3D.
everything could run.
There is
Okay.
no screens in Hagrid's.
Do either of you want to die on a hill for Hagrid?
No. It doesn't matter. It's not going to fix anything.
You never know. It has
Okay,
changed votes in the
here's the thing.
past.
I'll die on a hill.
Okay.
I'm dying on a hill. Give me a minute. But I'm this is my audition for Poseidon. But
here
I'm
we go.
dedicating it to Hagrid.
Oh, she's ready.
Whoa. Hey guys, I didn't know anyone was here. The professor isn't here right now. I guess I'll just give the tour. I'm climbing off of my ladder. Oh my goodness, that's Darkanon, the Dark Lord of this tavern, and Poseidon, the great god, whom we will probably not see because this is a tour. The wall is opening. Come with me into a room that I've never been into. We're going together. Now here I am. Who is that speaking to me from the wall? The goddess of what? I don't think we ever find out. Help us, oh goddess. I found this trident. It looks like a box of matches. Oh my goodness, it's a tunnel. Is there water? Depends on the day. Here we go. I'm flying the room. We're in the great god Poseidon's temple.
And that is the time.
Save us. Okay.
Okay. If anyone important is watching the show, thank you for being here. And please hire Devin, clearly.
I would like to say, I did see someone put it in the chat, hashtag Devin for Taylor. If we want to get that going on all social media, hashtag Devin for Taylor. That's Devin with an A.
Get that trending.
I think that would be incredible. So without further ado, since that hill to die on was not about either of the attractions up for the vote, we will move on. Okay. So we are on to Gringotts versus E.T.
No, it's not.
No, we're not.
Minions versus ET. You tried to sneak it in there.
I forgot. Every week, I always jump
It's
the
little
tried
yellow
to
guys versus little
sneak
green guys.
Okay, fine. Minions versus ET. You caught me. I'm still voting for ET.
Yeah, I'm also voting.
Yeah, ET as well. Yeah.
We respect the ride that Minions took, but we all know the right and know in my relationship again, which usually comes in all anytime these things happen. I am dating a minion, so who is furloughed, so please hire her back as well. We got to put it to a vote. Universal, if you're watching, hire Devin and please bring Hannah back as a minion.
All right.
Let's vote.
Hands up for Minion Mayhem. Perfect. Clean sweep. ET moves on. Last up, we have the final. We have Spider-Man versus the ET Adventure.
Oh,
Both adventures, mind you. They both have the word adventures in them.
Oh, brutal.
Literally my must-do ride from either park. This is my hell.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll say this. If Universal decided to get rid of Spider-Man, it would be a great loss. It would be upsetting. If Universal ever got rid of E.T., they would have to pull every Steven Spielberg ride from the park. That's the agreement. Steven Spielberg is so
Allegedly
to this ride that he will yoink all of his other properties if it ever departs.
Pat, what's happening over there?
My girlfriend Hannah is standing in a doorway over here, blasting Boogie Fever off her phone, crying, but sort of doing the dance that she would be doing if she were in the Minion suit, and is giving me the finger. Is now kind of laughing. It's turning into nope, it's tears again. She's just mad at me. So these are the things I've done for this show, and the music won't stop.
To go off of what Devin said, I think not only that, I think if they even really updated ET, I would be upset. I think it needs to stay how it is. The smell, like when we go to Horror Nights every year, they use the queue for ET as one of the cues. One of my favorite parts of Horror Nights is just smelling the smell from ET as I walk by it.
Also, Universal, if you're watching, which again, you have to be at this point, open ET during Horror Nights. That's it. That's all I have to say. It will be your most popular ride during Horror Nights. You have a few attractions that are open. You've got a year off from Horror Nights this year. Really think it through, guys. Run ET. Everyone demands it. Everyone needs it. Run ET during Horror Nights.
What's scarier than Magdoll and being chased by the police?
Well, I got a really easy solution to that. You do the overlay for the unmade ET sequel, Nocturnal Fears.
Yes.
You turn it into a horror show.
Yes. I would like to use my hill.
Okay.
Because this is a really hard decision.
Okay. The time starts when you start.
Okay. So, as we all know, these are two very well-loved rides. But you know what is an even more well-loved ride? The Jaws ride. I think the Jaws ride should win this bracket, and here's why. The Jaws ride was one of the highest capacity rides in the park. They fit 48 people on every boat. There was a ride every 5 minutes, and the queue video was incredible. Local comedian David Russell was in the queue video. I would like to throw out both Spider-Man and E.T. here. Let them tie for second, and let's do the right thing here and vote Jaws for the best ride in the park. Okay? Because it's still there. The soul of the Jaws ride is still there. The Hogwarts Express still cries those tears from Amity every time you walk under that track. So I'm just saying, you guys should do the right thing here.
And that is your time.
Thank
Boogie
you.
Fever is still being blasted in my house. If you can hear it, I'm sorry.
I will say, if we do end up doing enough of these shows, we do have a plan to do an extinct theme park attraction bracket. So Jaws may not win tonight, but it very well may win in the future, although it does have to go against Mr. Toad. So we are over time. So does anyone have anything they want to say before we put this to a vote? We have Spider-Man versus E.T. Burgers in the
This is
closet.
tough.
I'm going to abstain because I stand by what I said.
All right.
Oh,
if it's a tie, we might have to ask you to.
All right, let's see the
do
vote.
Let's see which tie.
Let's move to a vote. Pat, why don't you? Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Please raise your hands if you are voting for Spider-Man.
Really? Wow.
Two.
Pat.
I mean,
That's
you just
two.
you can't have a bad. It's the
Which-
best. I
But
mean,
that's 2-2. So Megan,
Megan,
will you be our tiebreaker, or will we need to go to the audience?
Megan.
You know what's weird is that I rescued as an ops person over at ET, and their break room is right next to that finale scene. And I heard that little baby ET do that Tarzan noise over and over, and I can't write it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. They took out a lot lot of stuff.
The audience is heavy ET.
The audience is heavy ET.
This is rough.
I mean, I'm happy to go with the audience if that's what I'm still on the Jaws hill. So,
all right. I think then in that case, I think we are going to crown our victor as the ET Adventure is the winner of the Universal Studios bracket.
The only original ride left.
The only one hanging on. You can't be mad at that. You know?
Look, I voted Spider-Man because it's a better ride.
Yes.
I love ET more, but I think Spider-Man's a better ride. That's my reasoning.
And there he is. There is the titular.
And there is ET. There's Botanicus. Welcome home, you've arrived.
All right. So with that, we have concluded yet another episode of Bracket Brothers. This one was more contentious than I anticipated. I really appreciate everything. Real quick, before we throw to the plugs, we do have an important announcement. Pat and I, this show will be going on a short hiatus. SAC Comedy Lab is chugging full speed ahead on reopening the theater, and they are going to have to put all of their efforts and energy into creating a safe space for everyone to go and see live theater again. So with that, we're going to take a quick break on doing our show, our live stream, but we will be starting a Facebook page and Instagram account for this show in hopes to get this starting up again soon. So if you like the show, stay tuned either to the SAC Facebook page or the SAC Instagram or our personal accounts. We will be posting all that soon. We're really excited. We have like 6 of these shows planned out. We got some spooky ones.
The Disney Universal matchup. Because we have to put our top 4 versus our top 4 and see what
that's coming down the pike. So we will see that. We got some spooky ones coming. We got a lot of cool stuff planned. So with that, I'd love to open it up to some plugs. If anyone has anything to plug, Devin, you got anything you want to plug?
You can, if you want to see more of Ted, you can follow me on TikTok at All Dogs Go to Devin.
All right, Megan, what do you got to plug?
I do a show every Thursday night on Facebook and YouTube called Shots and Plots, where we make a brand new short play while we're drinking. So follow Shots and Plots on Facebook for more information.
Awesome. And Jason, what do you got?
You can get Podcast The Ride wherever you get your podcasts. We have a big one of the attractions from this bracket is our subject for this coming Friday. So you can get that wherever you get your podcast. Podcast The Ride, the second gate is at patreon.com/podcast The Ride, kind of more off the beaten path, weirder stuff. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. And viewers, if you are going to a theme park right now, please be extra kind to the cast members and team members. Tip your wait staff generously, and everyone just be safe and be healthy.
Absolutely. With that does it. Pat, thanks for being a bracket brother.
Sean, thanks for being a bracket brother.
Peace.
See ya.